Hi, I'm Phaedra. So, I failed another art challenge. Let's talk about it. Quick note, my family just moved and things have been hectic for a while now. I'm doing my best to keep up with art and whatnot, but this year will be slow in terms of art and uploads as we figure things out. I'm hoping to upload at least one video a season, but I can't guarantee that. Thank you for bearing with me, and let's get into the video. I'll set the scene. I've been struggling with various forms of art block on and off, either trying to find a way to draw, trying to find the motivation to draw, or just not liking my style. It got to the point where I was about to give up, again, when I remembered that art challenges exist. So the one I'm doing is for OCtober and it's by Chalky Duster. I know that you're typically supposed to do these challenges on October, however, that is so far away, and I didn't like the other challenge prompts I could find as much, so it was this one or nothing. Now, I will say I'm not really the biggest fan of daily drawing challenges. I'm a fairly slow artist, and at least that's what I tend to think, and I have the brain of a workaholic, which honestly leads me to art block quite often, especially if I don't give myself breaks. I frequently have to force myself to take breaks or time off, and I'm still terrible at it. In my head, if I'm not working, I'm wasting time, and that goes for everything, which is super unhealthy. I have to force myself to relax or go to bed, and even when I know I won't be able to sleep for several more hours, it just doesn't help when I am working, and I often forget to eat meals or drink water so I can keep functioning. My brain is so zeroed in on what I'm doing, I just, forget. The only times I'm able to not feel super guilty about not working is when I have my usual doctor's appointments, or when, actually that might be it really. Even when my breaks are infused with some type of work, I will say a lesser amount, it's just exhausting. For context, I don't know if everyone's brain is like this, but the way my brain works is it's constantly absorbing things not only subconsciously, but also consciously. Everything I do feels like it has a little bit of work or studying in it. Now, this is by no means me supposed to be venting or saying, "Oh, woe is me, my life is so hard," or anything like that. This is just me talking about how the gears in my head turn and how the little worker, who's probably way overworked and way underpaid, is doing. In short, me explaining this is me trying to connect with people and learn. Okay, I was way off topic. Where was I? Something, I'm slow, daily art challenges kind of suck. Right, okay. The other thing is that drawing every day can also lead to or make burnout worse, which I'm trying to avoid. So I decided from the beginning that there was going to be no pressure to finish these, only the challenge to see how many I could do. I took a wheel of 32 of my characters, and the only qualifications for them being on there was that they had to be named and designed. Then I would start with a prompt, spin the wheel, and if the character fit the prompt, I'd use them, and if they didn't, I'd spin one or two more times, pick the best of the three options, and go from there. This took a lot of pressure off me as it helped me just go with whatever I got. You may have picked up that I replaced the first prompt with something else. I do this one or two more times, I believe, mostly because I didn't much like the first prompt, as I don't like having favorites, and I don't have a main OC. And also, I wasn't gonna pick a friend to draw their OC, as that also felt like having favorites, so yeah, I replaced those ones. I know that you're supposed to stick with the prompts given to you as, that's the challenge. However, for my reasons stated before, I believe I am justified enough in changing them, as well as the fact that this challenge is just to get me unstuck in my art. Oh my gosh, my English is all over the place today. So yeah, those are my rules for my personal Get Unstuck from the Curse of Art Block challenge. Working title. Now, the question is, did I get unstuck out of art block? Kind of. Yes and no. See, I had to stop about halfway through the drawing challenge to move and pack with my family. So that was several weeks without any way to draw other than my sketchbook, which kinda sucked. Then, when I got back into the challenge, my Steam for it had somehow burned up and I felt no connection to the prompts anymore, which only made things more difficult when I tried to get back into it with prompt number 15, which, spoiler, I sadly never finished. Because of this, I decided to stop the challenge as to not make things more difficult for myself. I'm kinda sad that I didn't finish it, honestly, but I also have few regrets in stopping it, as it's better for my mental health in the long run. Now, as for if it got me out of art block, in some ways, I'd like to think it did. I've been struggling with art block on and off for a long while now. There are moments when I get motivation to create, and I like my work, sure. But there are way more moments when I just feel stuck and don't know what to do, so I just kinda scribble and hope for the best. Now, I've been able to draw more freely without feeling as stuck as before. For example, I found out with all of my characters and personal projects, I tend to get stuck on what I think I should be doing or who I should be drawing. If I just randomize it, like with the wheel, it helps me freak out less and find something that works for the character without picking favorites. I also learned that, thanks to my mental health getting somewhat better, my art is no longer an escape for me. Well, kind of. It's just something I enjoy doing, which is in many ways nice. However, this also means, at least in my case, that I have less ideas at the moment. I still get inspired and find joy in it, I just need it less in order to function and get through my daily life. In short, this challenge, though I failed it, helped me out a lot. I recommend it to anyone struggling similarly to me, as it's really nice and kind of a break. Now that I've talked about my failure, I can talk about whatever I like. Unedited, this video is about 47 minutes long, and I've only scripted and done a voiceover for about 7 minutes of it. Seeing as I don't know how to yap without someone to talk to for 47 minutes, we'll probably shorten this video way down. But I don't know, I'll see what I can talk about and go from there. I suppose I could introduce you to the characters in this video, especially as most of the characters on my channel from this particular world are just the main characters of it. So, prepare for this voiceover to potentially not match up with the drawing at all, and let's get into it. I'll introduce the characters in order that they show up in the video. There should be about, only 17, I think? I don't know. First we have Astiana, whose name I thought I made up, but is actually just a misspelled surname of, I believe, either Greek and or Latin origins. She, like a few of my other characters, was originally a gacha OC from when I was a kid. Her design actually got several upgrades because I didn't like how her outfit used to look. Next we have Halia, who's the one in the red panda onesie. She's so precious and feels guilty hurting even the smallest of creatures and always means well. Her name means remembrance of a loved one, and I believe is Hawaiian in origin, but don't quote me on any of their name origins or meanings. Let's just say Google is weird. Asali was one of the ones wearing my outfit, red top, black bottoms, and black shoes. Her name is Swahili in origin, I think, and means sweet like honey. Despite that, she can be stubborn, spunky, and somewhat crude at times, though I think that just adds to her charm. Charlotte is French and means free man or free woman, which I really like for her story. She actually wasn't originally supposed to be a character for my world, but I liked her design so much that after redrawing her a time or two, I shoved her in anyway. I originally drew her when I was like, I don't know, 10? And I couldn't decide between drawing an elf, a cyborg, or a pirate, and I kinda just made all three into one character. Though you can't much see that in the drawing because she's at the beach, and I believe sand isn't exactly a thing you want in a mechanical leg. Prompt 5 brings us to Nerium and Hiroyuki. Nerium being the partial name of a deadly poisonous flower, Nerium oleander. This flower symbolizes things like beauty, grace, and danger. Hiroyuki, on the other hand, is of Japanese origin and means several things depending on the kanji, but I believe in his case it would mean widespread happiness. And as you can tell, they very much love each other. My baby Lily is in prompt number 6, and her name means purity, innocence, and beauty, and is of Latin and Greek origin. She's named after one of my favorite flowers, the lily of the valley, which is incredibly toxic and symbolizes fortune and love, good luck, return of happiness, sweet, trustworthy, and a few other things. Don't be mean to her, please, she's 10. Ayumi is another name I made up for another character who wasn't supposed to be in this world, but is, cause she's cute and sweet. Ignore the violent depiction of her in the art. I first designed her when I was 14 and bored after a big test. I still remember the classroom it was in and everything, which is weird cause my memory is terrible. Prompt 8 has 2 more characters, Estedy, another name I made up, and Pippin, whose name I believe is German and French and means something along the lines of awe-inspiring. Both of these are also redesigned gacha characters. They don't know each other in my story, but I think they'd get along really well. Mina is a character you should know if you've watched any of my previous videos. Her nickname is of many origins, but in this case, Old German meaning love. At least I think. I'm now realizing how many German, Greek, or Latin names I have. Yikes. Oh well. Lethe means oblivion or forgetfulness in Greek mythology. She's a recently designed character whom I've never made a proper piece for until now. I don't have too much to say about her as I'm still learning of her and what she's like. I will say it was a struggle to figure out what she'd cosplay for from prompt 10. Lady Rain, a noble woman whose name doesn't have a particular meaning or origin unless you're looking at her first name, Noelani. Noelani is Hawaiian and means heavenly mist, which fits her character as she's 1. Beautiful, and 2. A keeper of forbidden magic like weather magic. I'm still working out the kinks in her story, though. Prompt 12 and 13 hold Honey, whose nickname is self-explanatory. She's the younger sister of one of my main characters, Candy, whose nickname is also self-explanatory. I don't have much to say about Honey or Candy, mostly because Honey is a kid who doesn't come up very much, and Candy, well, I've already talked about her a bit in previous videos with Mina. Rima is a girl whose name is of Arabic origins, meaning white antelope. And while she isn't an antelope, she is part sea dragon, hence her scales and fins. I've had her as a character for a while now, and despite not drawing her much, I really like her. But the more I think about my world and its story, the more I wonder if she and some of my other characters will fit within the main plot. Which makes me sad, because there's a chance that she and some others won't. The last prompt I started of this challenge was prompt 15, where I was supposed to draw myself with one of my characters. You'll see what happens. The wheel gave me Laurel, who's pretty, also named after a flower, specifically I'm gonna butcher this one, Kalmia latifolia? I don't know. Her flower symbolizes ambition, glory, treachery, and words though sweet may deceive, which is not ominous at all. She is very kind and loving, I promise. Okay, that's a short background on all the characters in this video. I wasn't sure what to say, honestly, cause I'm still figuring out a lot with them. The voiceover has now almost doubled in its original length, so I'm gonna call it here. I don't know what else to talk about, and I'm running out of ideas. With that being the case, I'll link my Ko-Fi and Patreon in the description so that if you want to help support me, you can. If that's not possible for you, that's also 100% okay. A like, share, or comment would also be greatly appreciated. As always, I'm Kiyomi's Storybook, and if you are still here, I'd like to thank all of you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed your time with me and have a wonderful day or night.